Hi friends, today I would like to discuss another important concept from C language, that is storage classes. Okay, what do you mean by storage class? A storage class is associated with every variable. We know that every variable will have a value and an address in the memory. Similarly, every variable should have a storage class. So most of the times we didn't come across how to use these storage classes. So without using these storage classes, we would have written so many programs and we have executed and seen the outputs. Then what is the storage class? A storage class, without storage class, how you have written all these programs means, so if you are not specifying the storage class, your compiler will automatically assumes there is an auto storage class for your variables. So that's why we have written so many programs without storage classes. But it is our responsibility to know the concept of the storage classes, because the storage class specifies 4 properties. Okay, so I'll give you those names. Okay friends, storage classes discuss about 4 things. One is storage area. The second one is initial value. Third one is scope. And fourth one is lifetime. Okay friends, so these are the 4 properties of the variables. So that is associated with the storage classes. Okay, I will tell you what is each and every concept, that is storage area. What do you mean by storage area? So every variable will be stored in the memory, or there is another place, that is the CPU registers. So coming to this memory, there are so many different kinds of memories, like a stack memory, data segment, text area, initialized area, uninitialized area. So we talk about so many areas in the memory, but for the simplicity I am just calling it that is there are only 2 places for storing the variables. One is the memory and another one is the CPU registers. So for the storage area, so you can call it as a memory or a CPU registers. So there are 2 possible values for the storage area. And coming to the initial value, if the user not initialized any variable, what is the initial value that is by default it contains? So there are 2 options. One is the garbage value and another one is the value 0. So this is another important concept, friends, that is when you are not initializing a variable, what does it contains? Whether it contains a garbage value or 0, that is dependent on the type of the storage class that we use in the program. Okay, coming to the scope. Scope can be of 2 types, that is a local scope or global scope. Local or global. So what do you mean by scope? Scope is nothing but the availability of the value of the variable in the particular region of the program. We know that we will use so many variables in the programs, and where those variable values are available. There may be local variables, or there may be some external variables or global variables. The local variables means the local to the block or local to the function. So I'll give you a picture about this scope where you can easily get the concept of what you mean by scope. Remember friends, scope is nothing but the availability of the variable value in a particular region of the program. Okay, coming to the lifetime. So lifetime means, so as its name suggests, lifetime means the time duration or the time period your variable is stored in the memory. So when the variable is deleted from the memory, that is end of the lifetime. Okay, so this is a this will be of 2 types, that is when you are executing a program, the execution control, if it comes out of a block, some of the local variables lifetime will be over there, or some of the variables that will be alive throughout the program, that means until end of the program. So that means the execution can be within the block or the complete execution of the program. So that is a lifetime. So I'll give you a clear clarity about that. Okay, so these are the 4 properties of any variable. That is, for every variable these 4 properties will exist. That is a storage area, initial value, scope, lifetime. Okay, so coming to the types of storage classes. So in C language there are 4 types of storage classes. So those are auto storage class, auto, and second one is register, third one is static, and fourth one is extern. Okay friends, so there are 4 storage classes: auto storage class, register storage class, static storage class, external storage class. Okay, I'll give you each and every storage class information. So coming to the first one, that is the auto storage class. What do you mean by auto storage class? If the user not specified any storage class, it will be considered as auto storage class. Okay friends, so with this definition, so what do you mean by this auto storage class means? So in so many programs we do something like this. So if this is a smaller program, we declare variables something like this: int a, comma b, or char ch. Okay, here we are not specifying any storage classes. So even though you are not specifying the storage classes, still your program will work and you will get the output. So how you are getting these output means, if the storage class is not specified for these variables, that will be considered as a auto. So that is a reason why you are not come across with the concept of a storage classes. So if the user does not specify the storage classes, it will be considered as the auto storage class by default by the compiler. Okay friends, so now I'll give you how to write these storage classes, or what is the syntax of these storage classes. The syntax for any storage class, the syntax for any storage class is storage class, a specifier, then data type, then variable. So this is the syntax of a storage class specifier. That means you need to write the storage class specifier followed by the data type followed by the variable name. So some examples for this syntax are auto int a, or register int I, or static char x, some extern int a. This is how you can write these meaningful sentences with the storage classes. You can see that before the data type you are writing the storage class. So this is the storage classes. So where you need to specify these 4 storage classes. Okay, so this is the syntax of the general storage classes specified. Okay friends, now coming back to the auto storage class. Okay, so what happens if I declare a variable something like this: auto int a in my program. If I use this statement in my program, what happens, or what are the properties of your variable of auto storage class? So the each and every property will be, first one, that is storage area. So the default storage area, or the place where your variable gets stored, is memory. If you specifically want to specify the exact memory, so that will be the stack memory. Stack memory. Second value is the initial value. Okay, so here we didn't specify any initial value, or we are not initialize your variable. So what is your auto variable is initialized to? Your auto variable is initialized to a garbage value. Garbage value. Third property is the scope. Okay, what do you mean by scope? So if I declare a variable in a block, so the value of the variable will be available in the region where your variable is declared, that is within the block where it is declared. If I have declared my variable in a function, so the value of the variable is available in the within that function. Once you are coming out of the block, or once you are coming out of the function, your variable value is no longer available for accessing. So that is called as a scope. So the scope is the block or a function where it is declared. So you can call it as a block scope or a local function scope. So once you are coming out of the blocker function, your value cannot be accessed. And the fourth property is the lifetime. Lifetime. So as its name suggests, what do you mean by lifetime? Lifetime means the period of time or the amount of time your variable is available in the memory, or what is the time period your variable is exists in the memory. So once the lifetime is over, your variable is automatically deleted or deallocated from the memory. So for the auto variables, the lifetime will be the block. That means the execution control lies within the block. So the lifetime will be, so as long as the execution control lies within the block or function. So what do you mean by this is, so when you are executing your program, the execution control is present in the particular block or the function where your variable is declared, then its lifetime is exists. That means your variable is stored in the memory. Once you are coming out of the block or function, that will be deleted from the memory. Then that is the end of the lifetime of your variable. So this is an auto storage class, friends. That means when you are declaring a variable, you can specify it as an auto type. So if you are not specifying this auto type, still your compiler will assume that your variable is an auto storage class, because the default storage class for any variable will be auto. So that is about the auto storage class. Coming to the next storage class. So the next storage class is register storage class. So when you use a storage class as a register storage, so register storage class is the main importance of the register storage class is when you declare a variable as a register storage class type, your variable is stored in the CPU registers, not in the memory. Then what is the significance of storing your variable in CPU registers, or what is an advantage of storing your variable in CPU registers? So because the CPU registers means the CPU registers are present within the CPU, whereas your memory is away from the CPU. That means when your CPU wants to access data of a variable, so it is very easy to pick a value from the CPU registers than the value from the memory. So I'll just draw a small figure. If this is a CPU, so where you are having this ALU here, arithmetical logical unit, and this is a timing and control unit, timing and control unit, and these are called registers. Okay friends, so this is a small figure where I want to show what are the contents of the CPU. So for every CPU there will be arithmetic logical unit, there will be timing and control for generating all the timing and control signals, and there will be a set of registers, we call it as a register bank, where your values are get stored here. So if I declare a variable of register storage class type, your variable will get stored in any one of these registers. So actually what happens when you declare a variable as an auto or a static or extend storage class? So that will be something like this. So your variable is obviously stored in the auxiliary memory, or you can call it as a secondary memory. So here if your program is here, all the normal variables or the variables are stored here. So for the CPU to access the variables, it is easy to access the variable from here than the variable from here. So that means if I want to reduce the amount of time taken to access my values, I prefer to declare my variable as a register type, because this takes a lot of time to go there and get the values of the variables. So in that case, I'll try to use my storage class as a register storage class. Okay friends. So in which case we basically use this register storage class? If I am accessing a variable again and again number of times in my program, so that means you are frequently accessing a variable, it's better you declare the variable as a register type. So what kind of a variables that we use is basically we try to declare the loop variables or the variables that are used in the loops as a register storage class type. So register storage class type means the variables get stored in CPU registers. We basically prefer to declare loop variables as a register storage class type. Okay friends, so what do you mean by this is, for example, if there is a for loop something like this, I equals to 0, I less than some n, I plus plus, and some statements, this is called the loop variable. So it's better you declare it as a register int I in your program. For example, if this is the main function, it's better you declare your program, the variable in your program as of this register storage class type. So this is how you can use this register storage class. Okay, so for all the register variables, so what are the four properties that we have already previously discussed with the auto storage class? That is the storage area. So I have clearly show you where your variables get stored is that in the previous figure, that is CPU registers. So for register storage class variables, the default storage area will be CPU registers. What is the initial value? If the programmer doesn't initializes your variable, what will be does it contains? It contains a garbage value, same like a auto garbage value. And what is the scope? Scope is also similar to the auto storage class, that is within the block or function. Where it is declared. So that means the same as the auto storage class. So that means the value is available only within the block or function where it is actually declared. And the fourth one is lifetime. So lifetime is also similar to the auto storage class. That means as long as the execution control lies within block or function. That means when you are coming out of the block, that particular variable will be get deleted from the memory.
Daddy,
so this is a register storage class, friends. And next storage class is static storage class. So the third kind of a storage class is a static storage class. So this is another special storage class, friends. Basically we use this storage class whenever we want to keep the value of the variable. So if you are coming out of the function, so still if you want to keep your variable value as previous values without unchanged, so you will declare that as a static storage class. That means for the scope of the variables, we can call it as the value of the variable persists between different function calls. So what do you mean by that is, basically when you're coming out of the function, the value of the all the local variables of the function get deleted. But if there are any static variables, those values will still available, and when you go back to the function for the next time, the previous values are still stored in the memory. So that is a static storage class, friends. So okay friends, so that is the specialty of the static variable. That means when you are coming out of the function, all the static variable values are still exist in the memory. But what happens to the default auto storage class and the register type variables, all those values will be getting deleted. But the static variable values are still exist in the memory. So when we again go to the function, all the previous values can be accessed. So that is the specialty of the static storage class. Okay, so we'll see what are the four properties of these static storage class variables. So first property is the storage area. So the default storage area for the static variables will be the memory. If I generally call it as a memory. So if you specifically call it as, that will be the data segment. Data segment. So that is a special part of the memory where your static variables are get stored. What is the initial value? Initial value. If you are not initialize your static variable, it is automatically initialized to the 0. So this is special from the both auto and the register storage, that is different from the auto and the register storage class variables. Previously for the auto and registers, what we have got? We have got the garbage value. For this static variable, the initial value will be 0. So there is no need to initialize the variable here. And coming to the scope. So scope is an important concept for the static variable. That is this particular definition. That means we can say this in another way. That means the value of a static variable persist. Okay, friends. So what do you mean by this? The meaning of the persist is still exist. Okay, the value of the static variable persist between different function calls. So that is the speciality of the static variable. And coming to the fourth property, that is lifetime. So what is the time period of static variable will alive in the memory? That means until the end of the program. So until the end of the program, your static variable will still lives in the memory. So that is the four properties of the static variable. Okay friends, so now I want to give you a small example program, so that will show you what is the significance of this static variable. Okay, I'll write a small program here. Okay friends, so this is a small program. So where I have declared a function called fun here, and this fun is not taking any parameter and it's not returning any value. So in the main program what I have done is, so I have taken a variable I, and with a for loop for running for 5 times, I'm just calling that particular function fun. So this is the function call. Okay friends, so for the first time when I is equals to 0, 0 less than 5 is true, and you are just calling your function, so you go there. Okay, so in here I am declaring my variable called x, and which is initialized to 0. So x is initialized to 0. Next what I am doing is just printing the value of x. So the output will be x value 0 is get printed. Again what I am doing, I am just incrementing my x value. So x is incremented to 1. So and when you end of the program, you are coming back here. So this particular for loop is not still closed. You are going to the I++. So your I value becomes a 0, will become a 1 now. And again you are coming here, 1 less than 5 is true. Again you are calling the function. So again you go there. Okay. So as soon as you coming out of the function to the main function, this particular variable is actually deleted. When you are again entering into the function, again still the x is newly created with value 0, and that value is get printed. So second value is also 0, and again x is get incremented, and when you are coming back, this particular variable will be get deleted. So that means this for loop will be iterated for 5 times. That means this will call the function 5 times. You will get all 5 zeros here. That means every time that you are changing the value of the x, that is doesn't exist when you are going back to the function. So this is what happens when you declare a variable of a integer type without a storage class. Without storage class means here the default storage class will be auto. Okay friends, so this is what happens with the auto storage variable. Okay, now I will just make a small change. Instead of auto, I'll just make it as a static type. So this is the concept of a static variable. Okay friends, in this case what happens? Okay, so when this I becomes 0 and 0 less than 5, you're calling the function fun, and you're coming over here, and when the x is get created, it is initialized to 0. Remember friends, your x is declared as a static storage type. Okay, so x is here, and you're printing the value of x, that is a 0, and you're incrementing the x, so x is incremented to 1. When you're coming back, okay, so what I have already told you, the value of the static variables still exist in the memory even though we come out of the function. So that is a important thing here. That means this x is not deleted. So again you are coming here, and I is incremented to 1, 1 less than 5 is true, and again you are calling function. When you go here, this particular line will get skipped. So this is get skipped for the second time. That means there is no need to create your variable, because already the variable is available in the memory with some incremented value on. So directly you go to this place. So remember friends, when you are calling a function where you are having the static variables, this particular creation of the variable is not performed, that is skipped, and you directly go to the next statement. So what you are doing here, you are printing the value of the x. What is the value of the x? The previous value of the x, that is 1. So actually you will get the 1. And x plus plus means 1 becomes 2 now. And again you come back and you go over there. So then the next value will be 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. That means when you are calling the function 5 times, all the previous values of the variable still exist, and you will get the output as a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when this I becomes a 5, 5 less than 5 is false, it's just coming out of the program. Okay friends, so this is an important note. That means when you are declaring a variable as a static type, even though you are coming out of the function, still your static variables exist in the memory. So what are the different changes that you have already made to the variable that are still exist in the memory? And another important thing is the creation of the static variable will be skipped for the on next time, second time onwards. So this is a specialty of the static variables, friends. Okay, so that means, so when you use this a static storage class, so whenever your program is having some different kinds of functions, and you feel that the value of the variable should be kept even though you are coming out of the function, so in that case you can declare all the variables as a static type. Okay friends, that is a static storage class. And we'll go to the next storage class, that is external storage class. Okay, what do you mean by external storage class? So as its name suggests, external, that means external to the function. That means whatever the variables that you are declaring them as external storage class, those variables will be still alive until the execution of the program. What is the scope of the external variables will be? The scope of the external variables will be you can share the external variables from one program to another program. That means with multiple files you can still share the value of the external variables. That means the variable in one program can be used in another program. I'm once again telling you, friends, it's not functions. If you are having two different programs and you are having a variable in one program, and if you want to access that variable in another program, you can do it with this external storage class type. That means the variables can be shared between programs. Okay, so that is the important concept of a external storage class. Okay. The external variables can be shared between programs. So that is a specialty. Okay, we'll see what are the four properties. That is the storage area. Okay, storage area. So storage area will be generally says that is a memory. So if you specifically want to say, that is a data segment now. Okay, what is the initial value? So if the external storage variables are not initialized, they will contain 0, like static variables. Scope. Scope means how your value of the variable is available for the programmer. So the value of the variable will be available for the programmer between different files, that means different programs. The value of a external variable can be shared among different files or programs. Okay, friends, coming to the lifetime. Lifetime means the time period in which your variable is gets stored in the memory. So for the lifetime, this will be until the end of the program. End of the program. That means your variable will still exist in the memory until the end of the program. So once the total program execution is complete, then the variables get deleted. Okay, so these are the four properties of these external storage variables. Okay, so I'll show you a small example where you can use this external variable. Okay, friends, what I am telling you is, so the variables can be shared between two different programs. Okay, assume that there is a program 1. So program 1.c. This is different program and this is different program. Program 2.c. This is another program. Okay, friends. So there is a variable called int x equals to 10. Int x equals to 10. And there is a function called void add, and no parameters here. This is a void. I am just doing it, that is a printf %d x plus x. Okay, friends, you can see here I am not using any main function, because when you are sharing these external variables between two different files or programs, if you write two main functions, your program does not execute, because there should be only one main function, because your compiler will get confused if there are two main functions, because the main function is the point where every C program execution starts. So that means you have to write only one main function. I'll write that main function in this particular program 1. So in program 2, what I have done is I have declared a variable called x of integer type, and I have assigned some value 10. So and there is a function called add function here, where this x is getting added to x, that is x plus x. So this is a program 2. So now what I am do is, so in program 1, so hash include stdio.h. Okay, I want to use this particular variable in here. So because if you want to specify where this particular variable should be taken from, you need to specify that hash include the program name in double quotes. That means a program 2.c. Remember friends, this is important line because you need to write it, because when your compiler is looking for x, so that means you should know in which file your x is actually exists. So for that I need to include the name of that file with this hash include command in double quotes, not in angular brackets. Okay friends, so what is the difference between writing a header file in a angular bracket or specifying a file in double quotes? When you are doing this with angular brackets, this stdio.h will be a search in standard directory. That means like C drive or D drive. In C drive we will have these program files where you will store all the softwares. So if you are storing a Turbo C2 software that is exist in the C drive, so stdio.h will be searched in that C drive. But here what I did is I have just written this program 2.c in double quotes. So in this case, this program 2.c will be searched in current directory, because in current directory I am doing all my programs. So this program is also exist in the current directory. So there is no need to go to the standard directory. So I need to write it in a double quotes. So that is the difference between writing in angular brackets, double quotes. So if you write anything in angular brackets, the compiler will search for that file in the standard directory. If you write anything in double quotes, your compiler will search for that file in current directory. This is in a standard directory. So that is the difference. So what I have to do is, I have to declare my x as extern int x. Okay, so this should be before main friends. Okay, int main. Okay friends, so what do you mean by this particular line? Extern int x. When your compiler sees this extern int x, that will understand that this x does not belongs to this program, because this is extern. So this will be taken from another program. So it will search for this program 2.c and will get the value of x. Okay, so that is what your compiler will do. So here the external variables values can be changed. I am just changing my value 100, x to the 100. Okay, so initially x is 10, now I have changed x to 100. I am just calling the function add. Okay friends, so this is the program. So when you're calling this function, you go here, and here this will print 100 plus 100. Okay friends, the output will be 200, not 20. Why? Because you can change the value of the external variables in the second file also, not in the source files. It means you can change the value of the external variable in the source file and as well as in the secondary file. So there is that is allowed. Okay, so I have changed it and I called the function that is a add function, and that will be 100 is added to the 100 and you will get the output as a 200. Okay friends, so this is one particular use where you are accessing the variable of one program in another program by using external storage class. So this is one of the important concept of these external storage classes. In another way, we can do these external variables can be created in another way, that is within the same program. So I'll show you that example. Okay friends, just look at this example. So in this program what we have done is, in the main program we are trying to print our x value, But what is this x? X is not a local variable to the main function. X is actually an external variable, or you can call it as a global variable, which is defined after main function. So even though you have defined this x here, this main function does not know what is the this x variable, because if you declare this particular variable before the main would have known this x value. So in order to tell that this particular x value is an external variable that is declared somewhere after the main function, you need to say that this x has extern type. That means ext or an extern int x. So now your program is perfect. That means when this main program sees that extern int x, that means x is not declared here. X is declared after main. So it goes here, the x value 100 will be taken, and this prints the value of the x is 100. If you want, you can change the value of the x also. This means you can change x to some 200. Still you can print the value x as a 200 value. Okay friends, so what is the important concept here is, if this particular global variable is not before main, after main, so and you are not declared this x as extern type, your x is no longer known to this main function. So if your main function wants to access the variables that are declared after the main, you need to declare them as extern type. That means x is not belongs to main function, it is after the main. So this is another use of the external variables. Okay friends, so with this the external variables, where you can use external variables means when you want to share the variables of one program in another program, you can use external storage class. In another case, if you want to access the variables which are defined after main in main function, you can use external storage class. Okay friends, so this is the concept of the storage classes in C. Thank you.